and welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level lesson and the topic is socializing. So are you good at meeting people? Well, let's read what these three people say. The first person says, I'm a shy person. I find it difficult to talk with new people. I don't really enjoy it. Person B says, I don't mind meeting people at work because we always have something in common, but at a party, it's always hard for me to talk to strangers. And person C says, I enjoy meeting new people, even on the bus or train. I'm confident and find it easy to chat. So when was the last time that you met someone and what did you talk about? What would you talk about if you met someone new at a work function or on an airplane, at a friend's party, in line at a cafe? These are all places where you might meet someone new, so think about what you said to that person. If you break the ice, this is an idiom or an expression that means that you do or say something to communicate with someone for the first time. So here are some questions you can use to break the ice. However, there is one question that you should never ask when you meet someone. So see if you can figure out which one it is. Are you a student? Do you study or do you work? Do you like to travel? How are you doing today? How much money do you earn? Is this your first time here? Well, hopefully you said E, how much money do you earn? That is not a question that you should ask to break the ice. All right, we're going to listen to a conversation between Alex and Laura and then answer some questions.
It's a great day for a barbecue, isn't it?
Yes, we're very lucky with the weather.
I wasn't sure that a barbecue in April was a good idea.
I know what you mean. The weather here can be very unpredictable. Last Saturday, it was pouring with rain.
Yes, perhaps summer has finally arrived. I'm Laura, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex.
Okay, so Laura and Alex are at a barbecue, letter C, and they talk mostly about B, the weather. Okay, so now we'll listen to the rest of the conversation and complete the table.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Wow.
What about you? Where do you come from?
Russia. My family lives in Moscow. Are you a student at the university?
Yes, that's right.
What are you studying?
Physics. What about you? Are you a student too?
Yes, I'm doing a degree in music.
Really? That's much more interesting than physics. What instrument do you play?
Well, the violin mostly, although I can play the piano as well.
That's great. Do you live near here?
Yes, not far away. I usually come to the university on my bike. What about you? Where do you live?
Well, this year I'm staying in one of the student residences. It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to class.
Listen, are you hungry?
Actually, I'm starving.
Me too. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning.
Right. Let's get something to eat before it's all gone.
All right, so their nationalities are Russian and Colombian. Alex is studying music, Laura physics. Alex says he lives not far away, and Laura says she lives in one of the student residences. Okay, so some of Alex and Laura's answers are below, so listen carefully for the questions.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Wow.
What about you? Where do you come from?
Russia. My family lives in Moscow. Are you a student at the university?
Yes, that's right.
What are you studying?
Physics. What about you? Are you a student too?
Yes, I'm doing a degree in music.
Really? That's much more interesting than physics. What instrument do you play?
Well, the violin mostly, although I can play the piano as well.
That's great. Do you live near here?
Yes, not far away. I usually come to the university on my bike. What about you? Where do you live?
Well, this year I'm staying in one of the student residences. It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to class.
Listen, are you hungry?
Actually, I'm starving.
Me too. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning.
Right. Let's get something to eat before it's all gone.
Right, so hopefully you got these questions that went with each of the answers here. All right, so we're going to talk about questions with the verb to be. When we form questions with be, we place the verb before the subject, and this is called subject-verb inversion. So the statement form, you are hungry, would become, for a question, are you hungry? So the subject and the verb just switch places. You are a student at the university would become, are you a student at the university? Now, there are also some examples where you have a WH question combined with a to be verb. So here we would start with the WH word. So, where are you? And how far are you from the university? So, remember that WH questions ask for some information. You do not answer yes or no to a WH question. All right, so now you're going to practice questions with be. So you're going to change the sentences into yes or no questions. So this is an example. He is thirsty would become, is he thirsty? So go ahead and pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to see the answers. All right, number one, Joanne is a chef would be, is Joanne a chef? Tony and Robin are on vacation. Are Tony and Robin on vacation? Your apartment is on Warwick Street. Is your apartment on Warwick Street? Ben is at the office would be, is Ben at the office? San Diego is in California. Is San Diego in California? Santiago is the capital city of Chile would become, is Santiago the capital city of Chile? It is a cloudy day. Is it a cloudy day? They are on the train would be, are they on the train? And Sally, Michael, and Robert are good friends. Are Sally, Michael, and Robert good friends? All right, questions with other verbs. So when we form questions with other verbs, we use what we call a do insertion. So we insert the word do before the subject, and we use the bare infinitive. And the bare infinitive is just the infinitive form without the word to before it. So if we took the statement, she has three sisters, to change that into a question would be, does she have three sisters? They have brown hair would become do they have brown hair. So we use do or does before the subject and then the bare infinitive have. We also use do insertion in WH questions. And did is the past simple of do. Where did you go yesterday? When did you visit Canada? And what do you like about Toronto? All right, so now we're going to change these sentences that use a verb other than a to be verb, and we want to make yes or no questions. So go ahead and try those on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, number one, Tony has a dog would be um, does Tony have a dog? Gilda lives in Madrid would be does Gilda live in Madrid? Sylvia studies at a college. Does Sylvia study at a college? You work at a bank would become do you work at a bank? Diego likes classical music would become does Diego like classical music? David learned to play the piano in London. So here we have a past tense verb, so we have to use the past tense of do, which would be did David learn to play the piano in London? Simone went to the supermarket. And again, went is the past tense of go, so we're going to have to use the past tense of do. So it would be did Simone go to the supermarket? Elsa bought a carton of milk. Again, bought is past, so we would say did Elsa buy a carton of milk? Jane's parents live in Portugal. Do Jane's parents live in Portugal? And Guillermo comes from Brazil. Does Guillermo come from Brazil? All right, now we're going to talk about WH questions in a little more detail. So WH questions always start with a question word, but not all the question words start with WH. Some of them have WH in them, but they not always at the beginning. So where refers to a place. So we ate at a Korean restaurant. In a question, where refers to Korean restaurant. So the question would be, where did you eat? All right, so here we're going, the focus is are the words and the phrases in bold. So he studied in Bologna. Bologna is a place, so we would ask a where question. Where did he study? Sarah and Miles bought a house downtown. Again, downtown is a place. Where did they buy a house? I left my keys on the kitchen table. Again, on the kitchen table is a place. Where did you leave your keys? And at the train station. Train station is a place, so the question is, where are you? All right, so now we're going to try to match each sentence to its question and decide what the question word refers to. So go ahead and try that on your own and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number one, he arrived at 10 p.m. Well, the question that would go with that is letter D. When did he arrive? And 10 p.m. is a time. He ate because he was hungry. So the question would be letter A. Why did he eat? And the why refers to a reason. We invited David to the party. So that would go with letter E. Who did you invite to the party? And who refers to a person or people. A person, David in this case. She bought 3 oranges. So that would go with letter C. How many oranges did she buy? And that would go with a quantity of things. And he swims every day. That's letter B. How often does he swim? And that would be the frequency of an action. All right, so now make some questions by placing the words in the correct order and then match the question to its answer. And you can pause the video, try that on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. Okay, so number 1 would be, how often does he travel to Italy? And the answer would be B, once a month. Number 2, where do you study? That would be letter C, at the university. Number 3, how many people are at the barbecue? And the answer there would be D, about 25. When did they arrive? The answer would be E, at 3:30. Number 5, who did you call last night? And the answer would be F, my mom. And who did you see at the party? And the answer is A, all my friends. All right, do's and don'ts. So we're going to read an article that gives advice about speaking to people for the first time. So we're going to read through these, and then I'll ask you to choose which of these are not good advice. So 1, you can start by talking about the party, meeting, or place you're in. You should talk about your health problems. It's a good idea to ask the person about their work or studies. The weather is an easy way to break the ice. It's always easy to talk about music, sports, hobbies, and pastimes. People always like to talk about how much money they have in the bank. You can make a compliment about the person's clothes or hair. And people generally like to talk about past travel experiences or future plans for a vacation. So the ones that are not good advice would be number 2. You should talk about your health problems. You really shouldn't talk about that. And you shouldn't talk about number 6. So that's not good advice. And number 7 could be, it could go either way. Now, sometimes if it's a woman complimenting another woman, it's okay. Or if a woman compliments a man, that's okay, but some women might get uncomfortable if a man compliments their clothes and hair. So that one um, is sort of it's okay in certain circumstances. All right, meeting people for the first time. For many of us, meeting someone for the first time can be a nerve-wracking experience, but it doesn't have to be. And nerve-wracking is just an expression that means difficult, scary, something that makes you nervous. All right, so let's read. We'll read the situation here, and then we'll answer the questions. So first, you need to remember that the other person is probably feeling nervous too. Smile and look friendly and begin the conversation gently, perhaps just by saying, "Hello, how are you?" or commenting on the situation around you. Popular conversation starters include, "It's a nice day, isn't it?" "Are you enjoying the party?" or "Wow, there are a lot of people here today." Then you can introduce yourself by saying something like, "Hey, what's your name?" and "Great, I'm Lucy. Nice to meet you." So, which of the conversation starters is not a question? Well, this one, "Wow, there are a lot of people here today." Is it always okay to ask someone's name? I would say yes. Even if a person is wearing a name tag, it's always a good idea, I think, to ask them to pronounce their own name so that you'll know how to say it. And in your language, what question has the same sense as hello, how are you? All right, we're going to read the second half of the article and then answer these questions. Once you've broken the ice, a good way to continue the conversation is to ask questions. These can be about the situation you're in. For example, at a university, you could ask, "What subject are you studying?" At a party, you could ask, "How do you know so and so?" Or if you at work, "How long have you worked here?" After that, you can move on to ask the person more about themselves. Safe topics of conversation usually include work, studies, the person's hometown, and free time activities. You could ask questions like, "What do you do for a living?" "How are your studies going?" "Did you grow up around here?" Or "What do you like doing in your free time?" So, who or what is so and so? Well, so and so is kind of a placeholder. Normally, you would put a person's name here, but because this is just an example, we say so and so because we don't, know the actual person's name. But you wouldn't really say so and so in a real conversation. You would say, "How do you know John?" or "How do you know Mary?" So and so is just a placeholder for when we use in examples. What questions can you ask if you work in the same office? Um, well, how long have you worked here? You might also ask, what department do you work in, or what projects are you working on? How do you like working here? Those might be some other questions you could ask. And if you meet a person from a different city or country, what questions could you ask? Well, can you tell me about your country? What's the weather like there? What do you do for fun when you visit your country? Do you have family still in your native country? So, those are all some other questions you might ask. Okay, so Sandra and James are going to meet for the first time. So, complete the sentences with the words on the right. You can pause the video and then try to answer on your own, and then restart when you're ready to check the answers. All right, so she says, "Hi, I'm Sandra. Nice to meet you. I'm James." And so the first one is letter A. Are you enjoying the party? Well, sort of. I don't know anyone. You're the first person I've met here. Oh, well, Do you know Jules? It's his party. So it's letter C. Yes, I know Jules. I work with him. What about you? How do you know Jules? He's my sister's husband. We're family. Oh, do you know other people at the party? Not really. Most of these people work with Jules. How long have you worked at the same company? Only 2 weeks. Like Jules, I'm a lawyer. What do you do for a living? Ah, well, I'm an architect. In fact, I actually designed Jules's house, April's house. Sorry. Do you like it? It's lovely. All right, so we're going to listen one more time to Alex and Laura, and this time I will turn the captions off. And so you'll be listening to put the items in the order that you hear them.
It's a great day for a barbecue, isn't it?
Yes, we're very lucky with the weather.
I wasn't sure that a barbecue in April was a good idea.
I know what you mean. The weather here can be very unpredictable. Last Saturday, it was pouring with rain.
Yes, perhaps summer has finally arrived. I'm Laura, by the way. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Laura. My name's Alex. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. Wow.
What about you? Where do you come from?
Russia. My family lives in Moscow. Are you a student at the university?
Yes, that's right.
What are you studying?
Physics. What about you? Are you a student too?
Yes, I'm doing a degree in music.
Really? That's much more interesting than physics. What instrument do you play?
Well, the violin mostly, although I can play the piano as well.
That's great. Do you live near here?
Yes, not far away. I usually come to the university on my bike. What about you? Where do you live?
Well, this year I'm staying in one of the student residences. It only takes me about 10 minutes to get to class.
Listen, are you hungry?
Actually, I'm starving.
Me too. I didn't have time for breakfast this morning.
Right. Let's get something to eat before it's all gone.
All right, so first they talked about the weather. Then they gave their names. Then where they come from, what they study, and where they live. And so after listening to Alex and Laura, you can think about what questions you would ask someone at the same event. So for practice, I'd like you to prepare 5 questions to ask one of these guests or another person. And here are some things to prepare questions about: work, studies, people you know, travel, food, hobbies and interests. And here's the information. So you might ask Octavio, where are you from? And he would say, I'm from Padua, Italy. Okay, so just try to come up with 5 questions. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, and if you have any questions, leave those for me in the comments section. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.